Alex Morgan loved the quiet hum of orbital station Haven 7. Floating above the blue and white swirl of Earth, the station felt like a small, self-contained city where people from all over the solar system came to work, study, and explore. Alex worked in the station's communications hub, handling messages between Earth and the nearby colonies. Life was simple, predictable, and boring until today. A notice had appeared in his inbox. Roommate assignment updated. You will share your quarters with Xylo of Gorvax 7, effective immediately. Alex blinked at the screen. Gorvax 7? That was one of the more chaotic planets in the sector. Stories about Gorvaxians often involved strange biology, bizarre customs, and what most humans called utter chaos. He had no idea what he had signed up for. Within an hour, there was a knock on his door. "Hello, I am Xylo," said a voice, cheerful and unusually musical. Alex opened the door. Standing there was a tall figure, shimmering slightly in green and purple light, with multiple small limbs waving in the air. His eyes were huge, bright yellow, and filled with curiosity. He was naked. Alex froze. Hi, he said slowly. "I'm Alex. Welcome to your new room." Xylo tilted his head. "This is my proper attire for social interaction." Fully prepared. Alex swallowed hard. "Attire?" Xylo nodded, smiling. "Yes. I have studied human patterns. I wear exactly what Gorvaxians consider social appropriate for first meetings." Alex's eyes widened. Oh no. Before he could say more, Xylo strode past him into the room, completely unconcerned by the lack of clothing. He examined the walls, the small bed, and the desk, touching everything with delicate fingers. "Your living quarters are efficient. Not as spacious as Gorvax dwellings, but sufficient for a human." Xylo turned toward Alex. "I look forward to shared habitation." Alex pinched the bridge of his nose. "We're going to have problems." The first hours were awkward. Xylo asked dozens of questions. Why do humans cover their skin with textiles? Are uniforms truly mandatory for social recognition? Do your species feel discomfort when uncovered in public? Alex tried to explain. Clothes. They're practical and social. They keep you warm, protect you, and, well, society expects it. Xylo tilted his head. Protection? I understand. Expectation? I do not. Why cover oneself for expectation? Alex sighed. He realized that expectation was a human concept that didn't translate easily to a Gorvaxian mind. Okay, he said, rubbing his temples. We'll start small. Clothes are layers of fabric you wear. Shirts cover the upper body, pants cover the lower body. Socks and shoes cover the feet. Xylo nodded seriously. Understood. I will comply. Alex thought this was a good start, until Xylo reached into a corner of the room and pulled out a pile of random fabrics. This is how humans dress? Xylo asked. Alex took a deep breath. Sort of. Moments later, Xylo had wrapped himself in a bedsheet like a toga, tied a scarf around his head and stuck a sock on one of his antenna-like limbs. He grinned proudly. You look unique, Alex said, trying to be diplomatic. But that's not exactly normal clothing. Xylo nodded again. Then teach me. Over the next few hours, Alex attempted a lesson plan. He pulled up a holoscreen, showing images of humans in casual, formal, and uniform clothing. Xylo studied each image with intense focus. Ah! Xylo exclaimed after seeing a man in a suit. Upper body protection, lower body protection, covered feet. Symbolizes seriousness. Exactly, Alex said, relieved. Xylo then pointed at a person wearing a swimsuit. Ah, this is social relaxation attire? Yes, Alex said. Exactly. Xylo's eyes brightened. I will memorize. Clothing rules recorded. Alex relaxed. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad. Then Xylo walked straight out of the room wearing a lampshade on his head, a towel around his waist, and one boot on a tentacle-like limb. Xylo, stop, that's not... Please, stop, Alex shouted, chasing him down the hallway. Other residents stared. Some hid. Others stared openly, whispering about the new Gorvaxian roommate. Xylo, cheerful as ever, waved. "Greetings, fellow beings. I am properly attired for intergalactic friendliness." Alex groaned. This was only the beginning. By dinner, Alex had set a rule. Xylo must wear clothes when outside the room. Xylo tried to comply, but, of course, misinterpreted. He came to the cafeteria wearing a jumpsuit backward with the sleeves tied around his neck like a scarf. People stared. Food trays rattled. A small child screamed. Alex hurried over, grabbing Xylo's arm. "No, you can't. Stop, please." Xylo looked confused. "I am socially compliant?" "Socially?" "No," Alex said, exasperated. "That's not how humans wear clothes." A nearby alien, a small furry creature named Lita, whispered, "Humans are so patient." Alex wanted to cry. But at the same time, Xylo's happiness was infectious. He was trying so hard in his own strange way to fit in. During dinner, Xylo accidentally spilled a drink on a human officer. But instead of anger, the officer laughed. "Well, that's one way to make an impression." Alex stared at him. "You have to admit he's kind of amazing." After dinner, they returned to their quarters. Xylo sat cross-legged on the floor, folding and unfolding pieces of fabric. "I do not understand fully. Why must clothing change with time and place? Why not one universal garment?" Alex shrugged. "Humans like variety. It shows mood, purpose, occasion, and sometimes fashion is just fun." Xylo tilted his head. "Fun? Explain." Alex smiled. "Well, humans like colors, patterns, and personal expression. You can say clothing tells a story about who we are." Xylo's eyes lit up. "Ah, I will record story patterns for daily attire. This will be efficient." Alex laughed, despite himself. "Just try to wear pants tomorrow." Xylo nodded seriously. "Confirmed, pants will be worn, optional for extremities." Alex frowned. "Extremities are arms and legs, not socks." Xylo grinned. "Noted." Later, Alex sat on his bed, exhausted. He realized something. Teaching Xylo about clothes wasn't just about rules. It was about patience, understanding, and cultural differences. Humans prided themselves on ingenuity, problem-solving, and empathy, and Alex would need all of that. Xylo, meanwhile, drifted off to sleep, humming in an unusual key, dreaming of fabrics and patterns he did not yet fully understand. Alex smiled softly. Despite the chaos, he knew one thing for sure. Life was about to become a lot more interesting. The next morning, Alex woke to find Xylo already awake, or at least moving. The Gorvaxian had piled an assortment of fabrics on the bed, waving pieces of cloth in every direction. "Good morning, Alex. Today I will master clothing rules," Xylo announced proudly, wearing what looked like a curtain tied around his waist and a pair of gloves on his head. Alex groaned. "We're off to a great start." After breakfast, Alex decided it was time for a structured lesson. He pulled up a holoscreen and showed Xylo pictures of humans in different outfits. "This," Alex began, pointing to a man in a suit, "is formal clothing. It is worn for serious occasions like work, ceremonies, or meetings." Xylo tilted his head. "Upper body covered, lower body covered, accessories attached, shoes present. I understand." Alex nodded. "Good. Now casual clothing. Like this." He showed a woman in jeans and a t-shirt. "It is relaxed, comfortable for walking, eating, visiting friends." Xylo's eyes widened. "Relaxed, comfortable. Meaning no pressure on social perception?" Alex raised an eyebrow. "Some pressure, yes, but less than formal." Xylo scribbled notes with multiple limbs moving faster than Alex could follow. "Recording patterns. Efficiency achieved. Social success possible." Alex smiled despite himself. Maybe this would work, at least in theory. Next, Alex tried to demonstrate clothing physically. He handed Xylo a shirt. "You put this on your upper body." Xylo stared at it. Upper body. One dimension covered. Noted. He then folded the shirt into a perfect square and stacked it neatly. Ready for use. Efficiency complete. Alex blinked. No, Xylo, you wear it. Not fold it. On your body. Xylo tilted his head. Wear, meaning integrate into form? Yes, Alex said, trying to hide his frustration. Put it on over your form. After several attempts, Xylo finally managed to wear the shirt. Though he had it backward and inside out, he looked extremely proud. Human upper body covered. Mission success. Alex sighed. Close enough. For now. Then came the pants lesson. Alex handed Xylo a pair of jeans. Xylo studied them like they were some alien artifact. Lower body. 2 tubes. Feet protection optional. Logical. Alex tried to guide him. The legs go in these tubes, the waistband at the top. Xylo carefully examined his own limbs, then inserted his antenna-like appendages into the legs of the jeans. The waistband ended up around his shoulders. Lower body partially covered, upper body reinforced. Optimization? Alex buried his face in his hands. No, just wear them normally. Xylo paused. Normalized wearing, recalculating. Eventually, after much twisting, turning, and careful measurement, Xylo got the jeans on correctly. Mostly, his shoes were still on. His hands, success, Xylo declared. Human lower body efficiency achieved. Alex muttered under his breath. Somehow it looks worse than before. By mid-morning, Alex had given up on perfection. He decided that teaching Xylo through observation might work better. They went into the station's busy corridors. Alex pointed out humans and their clothing. See that person? Alex whispered. Casual clothing. Comfortable, simple. Xylo watched intently. He saw a human in a hoodie and jeans. Ah, hooded upper layer. Lower tubes applied. Correct footwear. Yes. Logical. Then a human in a uniform walked by. Uniform. Social importance restriction pattern applied. Noted. Xylo's antennae twitched. Observation method efficient, recording complete. However, learning by observation proved tricky. Xylo interpreted every example literally. When they passed a family in bathing suits near the station's small recreational pool, Xylo immediately stripped down, pulling his shirt and pants off. Alex. Casual relaxation attire observed. Social protocol engaged. Alex yelped, rushing forward. No, not like that. You can't. Please, get dressed. Other station residents stared. A few laughed. Some whispered. Alex grabbed a nearby blanket and draped it over Xylo. We need rules. Written rules. Xylo nodded earnestly. Rules. Important. Efficiency guaranteed. By noon, Alex had created a clothing chart. It was a simple grid with columns for occasion, clothing type, accessories, and footwear. Xylo studied it with laser focus. Ah, patterns emerge. Formal events require upper and lower coverage, plus accessory reinforcement. Casual events require flexibility. Relaxation events allow partial coverage or minimal restriction. Perfect. Alex smiled. Good. You're getting it. Slowly. Xylo then tilted his head. Explain footwear. Alex groaned. Shoes protect your feet. Basic stuff. Xylo nodded seriously. Feet protection. Understood. Human extremities are vulnerable, without covering. Then he turned toward Alex. You do not require covering for your upper appendages? Alex blinked. What? Xylo waved his hands. Humans have 2 upper appendages. Not wearing coverings in this climate. Logical risk. Why is this allowed? Alex rubbed his forehead. We call them arms, and yes, we just get used to it. Xylo nodded thoughtfully. Interesting. Efficiency not always prioritized in human culture. Noted. Afternoon brought more lessons in public spaces. Alex took Xylo to the station cafeteria, pointing out subtle differences. Notice, casual clothing varies by age, gender, species. Observe carefully. Xylo nodded, eyes scanning rapidly. Understood. Patterns recorded. But Xylo's attempts to imitate sometimes caused confusion. He wore a t-shirt backward, mismatched shoes, and an umbrella hat, claiming it was formal-casual hybrid. Alex sighed. Xylo, we'll keep working on it. Despite the chaos, something unexpected happened. Other aliens began to admire Xylo's boldness. Lita, the furry creature from the dining hall, whispered, "He dares to be himself. Humans are strict, but he is interesting." Alex realized that human patience and understanding were slowly turning a potentially embarrassing situation into something positive. By evening, Alex and Xylo returned to their quarters, exhausted but determined. Xylo carefully arranged his newly acquired clothing and fabrics on the bed. "I have learned much," Xylo said, pointing at his chart. "Upper body, lower body, extremities, footwear. Patterns understood. Efficiency approaching human level." Alex smiled. "Close enough. Tomorrow we'll try dressing properly for a real outing." Xylo's antennae twitched. "Affirmative. Tomorrow I will wear clothing in exact human expected positions. Success guaranteed." Alex nodded, secretly amused. He knew guaranteed success in this case was very relative. Later that night, Alex sat by the window, looking down at Earth. The station was quiet, the city lights far below shimmering like stars. He reflected on the day. Xylo had caused chaos, confusion, and minor public panic, but Alex had learned something too. Humans are capable of patience, teaching, and bridging cultural gaps, even with a chaotic, brilliant alien roommate. Xylo, curled, up in a corner, hummed in his musical voice, a sound somewhere between a lullaby and a mathematical equation. Alex chuckled. One day, Xylo might even master clothing, but more importantly, Alex knew he was learning about friendship, understanding, and human adaptability. The next morning, Alex awoke to a loud crash from the corridor outside. He rubbed his eyes and muttered, "Not again." Opening the door, he found Xylo proudly standing amidst a pile of knocked-over cleaning robots. The Gorvaxian wore a combination of a bathrobe, a space helmet, and 2 belts crossed over his chest. "Good morning, Alex. I have prepared myself for public appearance," Xylo declared cheerfully. Alex groaned. "Public appearance? Xylo, this isn't just your room. You can't wear that in the hallway." Xylo tilted his head. "Why not? Coverage achieved, comfort maintained, social protocol engaged." "Social protocol engaged. Differently," Alex muttered under his breath. He grabbed Xylo's arm, gently guiding him toward the station's central transport hub. Alex had hoped that today would be the day Xylo finally wore clothes properly in public. He had spent the night creating a step-by-step dressing chart, complete with diagrams and color-coded instructions. Unfortunately, Xylo interpreted the chart in his own way. He wore a formal jacket backward, pants on his arms, and gloves on his feet. A small hat balanced precariously on one antenna. Alex stared. "That's not even close to normal." Xylo smiled proudly. "I have followed your chart. Efficiency achieved." Alex pinched the bridge of his nose. "Somehow, that is more chaotic than before." They entered the transport hub where dozens of humans and aliens waited for shuttles. People stared. A small human child tugged at her mother's sleeve and pointed. "Look, that alien is naked?" Xylo waved cheerfully. "I am properly attired for social integration," the mother blinked. That's new." Alex hurried forward. "Xylo, please, cover, carefully." Xylo immediately grabbed a nearby poster and wrapped it around his body like a cape. He then put on 2 stray helmets, one on each antenna, and waved at the crowd. "Greetings, fellow beings. Observe my social compliance," Alex groaned. "Observe my patience, please." Despite the chaos, something remarkable happened. The crowd, instead of panicking, began laughing and pointing in amusement. Xylo's boldness, combined with his cheerful tone, made people smile. Some aliens even cheered. Alex blinked. Well, that's unexpected. At breakfast in the station cafeteria, Xylo attempted another clothing experiment. He claimed he was testing multi-occasion attire, combining casual, formal, and relaxation clothing. The result was astonishing. He wore a shirt on his head, pants over his jacket, socks on his hands, and a scarf wrapped like a sash across his chest. Alex buried his face in his hands. "You can't wear that anywhere." Other patrons were staring, some trying not to laugh, others taking hollow pictures. Xylo noticed their attention and smiled brightly. "Am I compliant? Socially and integrated?" Alex muttered, "Socially, a disaster." Yet, the cafeteria staff, used to the station's diverse residents, shrugged. One alien cook whispered, "He's amusing, not dangerous, unique." Alex realized that Xylo's innocence and fearlessness were oddly inspiring. By noon, Alex decided they needed a serious clothing rehearsal outside the quarters. He grabbed Xylo and brought him to the station's community hall, a large space with mirrors and holographic displays. "Xylo," Alex said firmly, "today we practice dressing properly for public areas. No experiments, no deviations. Understood?" "Understood," Xylo replied, twitching with excitement. "Human social patterns will be replicated accurately." Alex handed him the clothing step chart again and guided him step by step. Step 1, undergarments. Xylo wore them correctly. Step 2, shirt. Xylo turned it sideways but eventually wore it over his torso. Step 3, pants. He almost wore them like arm coverings, but Alex intervened. Step 4, shoes. Xylo put them on his feet. Success? Alex smiled. Finally, something. Looks right. But then Xylo picked up a towel, wrapped it around his shoulders like a cape, and announced, "For social protection in emergencies." Alex groaned. "Emergency? There is no emergency. Just leave it." Xylo nodded obediently, but the towel stayed on anyway. That afternoon, Alex took Xylo to the station plaza, a public area where residents walked, shopped, and relaxed. Alex hoped Xylo would blend in. Unfortunately, Xylo had other plans. He walked, past several humans and aliens pointing out mistakes in their attire, according to his clothing logic. "Your sleeves are asymmetrical, footwear coverage incomplete, social impression minimized." People stared, some laughed, some backed away. A vendor dropped a tray of drinks in surprise. Alex chased after him. "Xylo, stop correcting people. Just walk." Xylo paused. "But human logic dictates instruction improves efficiency." Alex groaned. "Sometimes not." While trying to guide Xylo through the plaza, they accidentally stumbled into a cultural festival. The plaza was full of performers, dancers, and vendors from multiple planets. Music filled the air. Colorful lights flashed, and the aroma of exotic foods wafted everywhere. Xylo's eyes widened. Festive patterns detected. Clothing analysis required. Before Alex could stop him, Xylo darted into the middle of a dance circle, twirling with his cape towel and helmet accessories. The performers froze, staring at the Gorvaxian spinning among them. Alex ran after him, shouting, "Xylo, don't, please, just stay still." Instead, Xylo struck a pose, mimicking the dancer's movements. Somehow, his extra limbs and unique body shape created a new kind of dance that mesmerized the crowd. People began cheering. Alex blinked. Well, at least it's entertaining. Later, an alien vendor called out to Xylo, intrigued by his unusual outfit combinations. "Your clothing style, innovative. Is this Gorvax fashion?" Xylo nodded seriously. "Yes. Human efficiency integrated with Gorvax principles. Social compliance achieved." Alex buried his face in his hands again. Social compliance by chaos. Despite the public disaster, something remarkable happened. People began admiring Xylo's creativity. His literal approach to clothing, combined with his cheerful demeanor, was turning potential embarrassment into curiosity and admiration. Alex realized a truth he had known all along. Humans have patience, adaptability, and the ability to turn chaos into opportunity. His role as a teacher was not just to correct Xylo, it was to guide him while letting his unique qualities shine. By evening, Alex and Xylo returned to their quarters, both exhausted. Xylo carefully laid out the fabrics he had borrowed from the plaza and the festival. Today was enlightening, Xylo said, his antennae twitching. I have observed multiple human clothing patterns. Public interaction achieved. Social learning continues. Alex nodded. Enlightening is one word for it. Chaos is another. Xylo tilted his head. Chaos? Explain. Alex laughed despite himself. It's when things get out of control, like today. Xylo hummed, thoughtful. Ah, chaos. Can lead to admiration? Observation noted. Alex shook his head, smiling. Sometimes. With you, Xylo. Yes, it can. That night, Alex reflected on the day. Xylo had caused chaos, confusion, and minor panic across the station, yet his innocence, courage, and cheerful energy had also brought laughter, curiosity, and admiration. Alex realized that humans truly shine in teaching, problem-solving, and bridging gaps between cultures. Today had been messy, unpredictable, and stressful, but also profoundly human. The morning sun, or rather, the artificial sunlight of Haven 7's central atrium, bounced off the gleaming floors of the station as Alex woke to a new crisis. Xylo had somehow received an invitation to the Interstellar Fashion Festival. Alex stared at the glowing hollow invitation. How did this happen? He muttered. Xylo, humming cheerfully, held the invitation in his extra limbs. Greetings, Alex. The festival organizers observed my attire yesterday. They have invited me to display my human Gorvax hybrid clothing. Efficiency and creativity recognized. Alex groaned. Invited? By mistake. You can't just walk into a fashion show wearing whatever that was yesterday. Xylo tilted his head. Mistake irrelevant. Opportunity embraced. Alex sighed. This is going to be interesting. By noon, the festival hall was bustling. Creatures from dozens of planets paraded across the main runway, displaying clothing styles Alex had never imagined. Hollow projectors lit the room with bright patterns and judges scribbled notes on floating tablets. Alex tugged at Xylo's arm. Listen carefully. You must wear proper festival clothing. No experiments. No deviations. Xylo's antennae twitched. Acknowledged. Formal festival attire will be observed. Alex handed him a suit, a simple human-style suit with trousers, a shirt, and a jacket. He also added a tie for good measure. Xylo stared at the clothing like it was alien. Technology. Upper body coverage confirmed. Lower body tubes verified. Accessories attached. Ready for human display. Alex hesitated. Just try not to rearrange anything, okay? Xylo saluted with one glove-covered hand. Acknowledged. As the festival began, Alex guided Xylo backstage. Other participants were creatures of all shapes and sizes, dressed in intricate outfits that shimmered, floated, or even glowed. Xylo's suit looked plain in comparison, but Alex hoped at least it was wearable. Remember, Alex whispered, just walk the runway. Smile. Don't touch anything. Don't rearrange your clothes. Simple. Xylo nodded. Simple. Understood. Mostly. Alex sighed. Mostly? Great. The first few participants strutted down the runway flawlessly. A four-armed alien in a sequined robe twirled gracefully. A group of feathered humanoids spun in synchronized motion. The crowd applauded politely. Then it was Xylo's turn. Alex held his breath as Xylo stepped onto the runway. At first, Xylo walked like a model, legs straight, shoulders back. But halfway down, he decided the runway was inefficient. He bent down, studied the lighting, and began rearranging his tie with meticulous precision, using two limbs to pull and twist. The audience gasped. Some laughed quietly. Some whispered in admiration. Alex whispered frantically, Xylo, stop. Just walk. Xylo nodded seriously. Walking inefficient. Optimization required. By the midpoint of the runway, Xylo's suit was slightly askew. One sleeve was inside out. The jacket tilted at a strange angle and his shoes squeaked unnaturally. But the Gorvaxian didn't care. He twirled, posed, and even paused to inspect a stage light, declaring it improperly aligned for human observation. Alex cringed. This is a disaster. Then something unexpected happened. A large stage panel began to wobble, threatening to collapse onto a group of performers waiting backstage. Xylo, with his extra limbs and unusual body, leapt forward. Instinctively, he grabbed the panel, adjusted it, and stabilized it effortlessly. The crowd erupted into applause. Alex blinked. Wait, what just happened? Xylo stepped back onto the runway, suit slightly wrinkled, hair, or rather, antennae, ruffled, and gave a cheerful bow. Efficiency restored, humans and performers safe, mission success. Alex realized something important. Humans' teaching and guidance had prepared him to respond, but Xylo's unique physiology and perspective actually solved the problem. The judges approached. One, a tall, blue-skinned humanoid, raised an eyebrow. Your clothing, chaotic. Your presentation, unorthodox. Yet you stabilized the stage panel before any accident occurred. Impressive. Xylo tilted his head. I followed instinct, human guidance, and logic patterns. Efficiency maintained. Another judge, a small insectoid creature, nodded. Interesting. The combination of form, function, and problem-solving. Unusual, but effective. Truly unique. Alex's jaw dropped. You actually saved the festival. And somehow your chaos is considered art? Xylo waved cheerfully. Art and efficiency not mutually exclusive. Lesson learned. Creativity can integrate with logic. Humans, adaptive. Admirable. Alex laughed, shaking his head. I can't believe this. After the festival, Alex and Xylo sat in a quiet lounge area, away from the crowds. Xylo carefully removed his suit and examined each piece. Today was enlightening, Xylo said, antennae twitching. Humans observe patterns, but sometimes chaos produces unexpected success. Clothing rules are flexible when efficiency and safety combine. Alex nodded. Exactly, that's what makes humans special. We can teach, adapt, and solve problems, even in strange situations. Xylo's eyes sparkled. Humans. Remarkable. Your patience and guidance enabled optimal outcomes. Alex smiled. And your unintentional creativity saved the day. Xylo tilted his head. So humans and Gorvaxians together, more efficient? Alex chuckled. Let's just say, humans and you together make things interesting. Later, back in their quarters, Alex reflected on the day. Xylo had caused chaos, confusion, and minor public panic, but he had also solved a problem no one else could. Alex realized that being human wasn't just about rules or logic. It was about patience, teaching, and helping others, qualities Xylo had inspired and amplified. Xylo, meanwhile, began documenting his festival clothing patterns meticulously. He noted what worked, what failed, and how humans responded to chaos. Tomorrow, Xylo said proudly, I will integrate lessons learned, clothing efficiency and human social patterns, optimized. Alex chuckled. Tomorrow is another day. Let's hope it's a little less chaotic. Xylo grinned. Unlikely. But humans are adaptable. Therefore, no worry necessary. Alex smiled. That was the thing about humans. They adapted, taught, solved problems, and laughed even when chaos walked or strutted down a runway in a misaligned suit. The morning light of Haven 7's orbital station streamed across Alex and Xylo's quarters, glinting off the pile of clothes Xylo had carefully laid out overnight. After the chaos of the fashion festival, Alex had hoped for a peaceful day. But, with Xylo, peaceful was always relative. Xylo was already awake, standing in front of the clothing pile, humming a cheerful tune in his musical voice. Good morning, Alex. Today I will perfectly integrate human clothing patterns into my daily life. Optimization achieved. Alex rubbed his eyes. Perfectly, huh? That sounds terrifying. Breakfast was the first test. Xylo carefully selected a shirt, pants, and shoes from his pile. Alex watched closely. Check your alignment, sleeves, and waistband, Alex instructed. Shoes on the correct extremities. No accessories unless necessary. Xylo nodded, his multiple limbs moving with precision. He put the shirt on backward once, fixed it, inserted his legs into the pants correctly, and even placed his shoes properly on his feet. Alex exhaled in relief. Finally. Something looks normal. Xylo tilted his head. Normal, relative term, efficiency achieved within human parameters. Alex nodded. Yes, that's good enough for me. The day continued with small victories. Xylo successfully dressed for a short walk in the station plaza, followed social norms while greeting humans and aliens, and even avoided pointing out wardrobe mistakes in others, mostly. Alex walked beside him, smiling. You're doing great. People barely notice you now. Xylo tilted his head thoughtfully. Observation. Humans value conformity. Yet, appreciate uniqueness. Conclusion, balance required, Alex chuckled. Exactly, balance. But balance was tricky for Xylo. By mid-morning, he spotted a small crowd gathered near the station's communications tower, where a holographic display was malfunctioning. Attention, Alex. Social problem detected. Clothing integrity at risk. If crowd disperses improperly, Xylo exclaimed. Alex groaned. Clothing integrity? Seriously? Before Alex could stop him, Xylo darted toward the crowd. With his multiple limbs and flexible body, he helped direct humans and aliens away from the unstable equipment, preventing chaos and potential accidents. The crowd cheered. Thank you, mysterious green and purple hero, Alex whispered. You're a walking disaster sometimes, but also a lifesaver. Xylo tilted his head. Observation. Humans are remarkable. They teach, adapt, and integrate chaos effectively. My learning optimized through guidance. Alex smiled. You're learning, and teaching too. By afternoon, Alex decided it was time for more practical lessons. Workplace attire. Xylo would accompany him to the communications hub, where humans were working in uniforms. Remember, Alex warned, work attire is serious. No experiments, no creativity, just follow the rules. Xylo nodded. Acknowledged. Compliance guaranteed. Inside the hub, Xylo donned the standard uniform. The shirt fit awkwardly over his extra limbs, and the pants had to be adjusted multiple times. Alex helped discreetly, whispering instructions like align collar, pull waistband, shoes correct. Xylo's careful attention impressed the human supervisor, who nodded approvingly. You're surprisingly compliant. Keep it up. Alex whispered to Xylo. See? Humans appreciate effort more than perfection. Xylo's antennae twitched. Lesson noted. Human patience recorded. Evening arrived, bringing a chance for relaxation attire. Alex and Xylo visited the small recreational area. Xylo had finally mastered casual clothes, though he still had a habit of wearing one glove on his head as a relaxation accessory. Alex laughed. At least it's only one accessory now. Xylo twirled, showing off his outfit. Relaxation parameters achieved. Comfort verified. Other residents watched, some chuckling at his quirky style, others impressed by the alien's commitment to learning. Alex realized again that humans shine when they teach, guide, and adapt, even across species. Later that night, Alex sat on the bed, watching Xylo meticulously fold clothes while humming. The Gorvaxian had even arranged a small clothing log, with notes on patterns, social acceptability, and comfort. Alex asked, So, Xylo, do you think you finally understand human clothing? Xylo paused, tilting his head. Partial comprehension achieved. Full understanding may require centuries, as human clothing is nuanced and sometimes illogical. However, I am satisfied with current efficiency and social compliance. Alex smiled. That's all anyone can ask for. Just as Alex was about to relax, Xylo turned toward him with a mischievous glint in his yellow eyes. Alex, tomorrow, I will wear invisible attire. It is a trend from Gorvac 7. Very advanced, highly efficient, social integration, optional. Alex groaned dramatically. Of course you would. Xylo laughed, hummed happily. Humans are adaptable, no worry necessary. Alex shook his head, smiling. This was life with Xylo, unpredictable, chaotic, hilarious, and, somehow, completely wonderful. The following days settled into a rhythm. Xylo sometimes misinterpreted minor clothing rules, but Alex's patience, guidance, and humor kept things manageable. Humans and aliens alike began to admire Xylo's boldness and willingness to learn from mistakes. Where chaos could have been a problem, human patience, teaching, and adaptability turned it into something positive. Alex realized an important truth. Humans are not perfect. They do not always follow rules flawlessly, but they shine in the ways that matter most. They teach, they guide, they adapt, and they solve problems creatively. And sometimes they do it while living with an alien roommate who forgets what clothes are. Again. Weeks later, Alex and Xylo were walking in the plaza. Xylo was dressed in a casual outfit, a shirt, pants, and shoes correctly in place. One glove was still worn on his head, but Alex ignored it. Alex, Xylo said thoughtfully, today, I observed humans adjusting to unexpected events. Clothing rules temporarily broken. Outcomes positive. Lesson, flexibility essential. Humans, admirable. Alex laughed. You've learned a lot, Xylo, and you've reminded me of something important, too. Life's better when you adapt, laugh, and help each other even when things go wrong. Xylo tilted his head. Agreement noted. Humans, efficient, patient, adaptable, model species. HFY confirmed. Alex chuckled. HFY confirmed indeed. That evening, as the station lights dimmed, Alex and Xylo returned to their quarters. Xylo carefully hung up his clothing, organized his log, and hummed a soft, cheerful tune. Alex watched him, realizing how much his alien roommate had changed, not just in learning about human clothing, but in understanding human kindness, patience, and creativity. Alex finally sat on the bed and said, You know, Xylo, maybe one day you'll fully understand human clothing. Xylo looked at him seriously. Perhaps, but even if I do not, humans will adapt, teach, and laugh. Therefore, no concern necessary. Efficiency of life? Maintained. Alex smiled. Exactly. That's what makes human human. And with that, Alex realized something important. HFY wasn't just about strength, cleverness, or bravery. Sometimes it was about patience, creativity, empathy, and the ability to turn chaos into laughter and learning. Xylo fell asleep humming beside him, and Alex drifted off too, feeling content. Life with a Gorvaxian roommate would always be chaotic. Always unpredictable, always messy, but it would also always be brilliant, heartwarming, and deeply human, because humans adapt, humans teach, humans laugh, and humans make the universe better, one strange, wonderful day at a time.